and welcome to episode 37 of the Knitting Pickle podcast. My name is Laura Penrose and welcome back. It's been a little while, a little bit longer than I was hoping for the next podcast, but summer holidays, man. It's just not been possible to film with the kids home. The kids are home right now. It's still the summer holidays, but it's a Sunday morning, so they have been instructed to focus all questions to Daddy, but we'll see if that actually happens or not. So welcome back. It is the 1st of September. I can officially be all autumny without people coming for me, although it's probably still a little bit early. It's definitely not autumn yet because I'm sat here in a vest top and it's too warm to put on my recently finished sweater. But this is going to be probably actually quite a transitional podcast, which I think is quite fitting. We've got my summery things moving into some autumny things, so there should be a little bit for everyone in this episode. I've got 1, 2, 3.5 finished objects and 1, 2.5 whips. So I've got lots to talk about. Yeah, there is quite a lot. So this is probably gonna be a long one. So grab a cup of tea, grab your knitting, and let's get into it, shall we? I've also got some exciting news towards the end of this podcast. Spoiler alert, I'm doing a make-along. So if you're interested in doing a make-along, stay till the end or skip to the end. I'm not offended either way. But yeah, we've got some exciting things coming up. Lots of projects, lots of plans. Exciting! So let's do it. We will start with traditional finished objects / what I'm wearing because I'm going to put it on. But I doubt I'll be able to keep it on because it is very, very woolly and it is 21 degrees today, which I know is not hot, but it's warm for us here in the UK. So if you have been following me for a while, if you're aware of my work, you will know that last year I released a pattern for a hot water bottle cover that I initially made for my sister as a Christmas present, and therefore I named it the Maxine hot water bottle cover. And when I made it, in my mind I was like, this needs to be a sweater. And then the lovely Emma of Woolly Mammoth Fibre Company reached out to me and said, would you like to collaborate on something? To which of course I said, yes please. I'm a huge fan of Woolly Mammoth Fibre yarns. I first experienced it when I got her advent calendar a few years ago, and from that came the Stella quilt cushion and the Maxine hot water bottle. So before that was the yarn that I used, her Hearth DK that I used for the Midland cardigan. Don't come for me. So I had experienced her yarn before, but it's so beautiful. And so when she said, let's do something together, I thought perfect. And it had to be the Maxine, really. And last episode I had redone my yoke. The first yoke was not successful. The second yoke was much more successful, although we've got some issues, unfortunately, that I need to go through, but it's all okay. We're moving forward. And I have now finished that sample. It has been such a pleasure to knit. It's my first full adult garment knit on like 4mm in nearly a year. It's been a long time. I did a chunky adult sweater like in January, but that was literally like 8mm needles, smashed it out in like 5 days. So it didn't really feel like it counted. So this felt like my first garment in a long time. And I really, really, really enjoyed it. Goes to show, you know, going with what you feel like. Don't force yourself to make things because you feel like you should. And sure enough, the garment mojo came back and I had so much fun. So much so that I'm going to make another one. But we'll get into that. So let's pop it on. Let's just check I've got this the right way around. Yep, this way, this way, this way. So without further ado, here she is, little sneak preview. I'm going to mess my hair up, aren't I? Oh, she's cozy. She's cozy. I'm normally like put my hair up with this, but I don't think I'm going to go that far. So here we go. Here she is. Let's angle you down a little bit. Here is my Maxine Sweater version 0.5. There are tweaks that need to be made, but you can see it's like visually it's exactly what I wanted. It's like I've got a little sketch. I wonder if I've still got that sketch somewhere. If I do, I'll pop it in here, but it is exactly as I envisioned. It's like comfy, not oversized, it's positive ease, but it's not massive. It's got this lovely squishy 2x2 turtleneck, big wide 2x2 cuffs, and we do also have a split hem going on here. I will try and do some cutaways of me like standing up, because otherwise it's quite difficult to show you here at this angle. But the main thing we need to talk about really is the yoke, which you can see here sat down. Oh, looks so good on camera. The original Maxine hot water bottle cover, which I have here for comparison, is a slightly different motif. You can see in here we've got this ziggy-zaggy guy, and in this sweater we don't have the ziggy-zaggy guy, and there's a very specific reason for that, and it was all because of the grading. I could not make the grading work with this motif here because it's a 12 stitch repeat, and that having 12 stitch like increments, I just was ruining the grading. I could not get the sizing right on it. It was just too big, like an increment really. So this one is a 4 stitch, even though they're like the same depth. So if you wanted to fiddle your numbers a little bit, if you were confident doing that, you could insert this, because this is only 1 row more than this. But in order to make the grading consistent throughout sizes, we had to go with this motif. And I don't think you lose the whole Maxine vibe overall. I still think that's what you get. And it's mainly about this guy really, isn't it? Mainly. So yeah, I'm so pleased with it. I love my colour placement. The first yoke was not, the colour placement was a little bit off. The yellow just wasn't popping right. We were losing definition in some of the things, and now that this is in test and all my testers are swatching and choosing their colours, we've already got a yoke that's nearly done. They're starting to realise, oh actually yeah, getting the balance with the colours here, it's quite an art, especially with the 5 colour. There is a 3 colour version, just like with the hot water bottle cover, where it's a main colour and just 2 contrast colours with a slightly different chart. There's a slight difference in this bit just to make it work, and there is a slight difference in the middle as well, but again the vibe is still the same. But with the 5 colour, getting that balance right is tricky, and in my colours it's not all super high contrast, especially here. You've got 3 different colours in here, but they do kind of meld together a little bit, and I like that. I think that's okay. Not everything needs to be super high contrast. In here this was important to get the high contrast so that you can get that very clear like 4-point quilt star vibe without the inside getting mushy. So yeah, it's a fine balance, but I'm really pleased with the placings. Just to confirm, I did not choose these colours. Honestly, I really struggle with choosing colours, as you will see in a minute with my next projects. This is all Emma. She created this colour combination specifically for the Maxine. The brief was autumn vibes with a pop. Like, I would never have thought to put this bright yellow in there, but it just makes it's so beautiful. And she's so good at the colours. I mean, you'd hope so, being a yarn dyer. So when this is released, there will also be kits from Woolly Mammoth Fibre Company. We are hopefully going to sync everything up so that the release and her end of November update will sync up nicely. So if you want to make this in the yarns, in the colourways, then it'll all be there hopefully from her on the website. But obviously this is a great project for scraps, especially the 5 colour, because quite a few of them it's like less than 20 grams for a lot of the sizes, so you can use your minis, use your leftovers and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm so pleased with the look of it all. However, we have one well, not minor, it's significant enough that I've had to change things. Slight issue with the fit, and I don't think it's coming across on camera that much, but you might be able to see that we still have a very slight bump here. Can you see this here? In my first yoke, this bump it was here and it was big. It was like this. It was huge. You could not mistake it. Whereas we still kind of have this just slight bulge here. And I think I figured out why this is. So shall we like pull this apart, figure out what this is? Because circular yokes, my goodness. Talk about going back into the deep end with colour work, with garment design. I'm doing a circular colour work yoke with a 12 stitch repeat. My goodness, I didn't make life easy for myself or my editor, who has been my rock throughout this process. So right, let's go into why we're still getting this little bit of pull here. So I think this is happening for two reasons, and if you find you are also getting this issue on your colour work yokes, hopefully this can help you solve that problem a little bit. So first of all, it's become very clear to me that my short rows on this sample were not deep enough. The short rows are after the colour work because I'm really not a fan of having a big chunk here and it kind of creeps around the shoulder, and I'm just not a fan of the way it looks. So I put the short rows after the colour work but before the sleeve split, and it does the same thing. It pushes the back up. I did not do that enough on this sample. So if you think about, if you've ever made like a raglan without short row shaping in it, you end up with like quite a square kind of straight neckline, which is kind of what is happening here. Whereas if my back neck was raised just a little bit more, this would create a rounder shape here rather than a straighter shape, and it would remove that little bump that was here. The second issue is that I have learnt that I am indeed broad of shoulder. It would appear. Well, so I was picking this apart with my knitting friends last night on a Zoom call. I don't think it's necessarily that I am broad-shouldered for my size. I think I am small-chested for my size. So when you look at industry standards and when you're like creating sizes and stuff for garments, it's all based around the chest circumference, and unfortunately the chest circumference has very little to do with the other parts of the body. So like bicep circumference, shoulder span, so your broadness. So when I looked at the Craft Yarn Council standard sizes, which is what I grade by and what most people grade by, I also use the Sister Mountain because the Craft Yarn Council, they don't have like wrist circumference when it comes to size inclusivity. It doesn't quite have all the measurements you need, but Sister Mountain has got a broader amount. So if Craft Yarn hasn't got what I want, I'll go to Sister Mountain. I think you have to sign up for the Sister Mountain newsletter to get the standards, but they are free and brilliant. So when I look at the Craft Yarn Council sizing standards for my bust measurement, my shoulder span is 2 inches wider, which is significant, especially in this situation when you've got something round, something fitted in this area. So basically, I knit a size too small. I needed the bigger yoke to sit on my shoulders properly. The reason I was thrown is like I don't look broad-shouldered. I've never considered myself broad-shouldered. But when I look at the size up and compare my shoulder span with my bicep circumference and with my hip circumference, they all match up. I'm average for that size and everything apart from the bust, which makes me think my body and its proportions are all, you know, in proportion based on the averages, and it's my chest that's smaller. So when I'm basing my sizes that I'm choosing to knit on my bust circumference, no wonder we're having fit issues elsewhere. So all of this has led me, one, to change the short rows in the pattern. The pattern that my testers are knitting would not reflect this. They are knitting the short rows of the new, improved, better fit. And I have also included a broadness modification, which was brand new to me, was scary territory. It's taken quite a few edits to get it right, but hopefully it should work. And the whole premise of the broadness modification is that you can knit the yoke size up, or the yoke size that's appropriate for your broader shoulders, or if you have a higher upper bust measurement here as well. My boobs are small and low because I fed 2 children. So I don't really have that problem here, but for me it's up here. But there are a lot of people who have the bigger bust measurement up here, but are smaller underneath. My friend Caroline says she would definitely be in that category, and she often finds she has to do things like waist shaping and stuff because she's bigger here but smaller down here. I also have quite a small waist. My hips are wide but my waist is small, so basically this whole kind of area, my torso, is below average compared to everything else. So for my next sample, which is going to be a 3-colour sample, which I'm really excited about as well, it's going to be a dark main colour and light contrast colour, so a very different vibe to this. I cannot wait to get started on it. I'm going to be knitting the yoke size up with the modification, and then what the modification does is it takes the very last increase row, which is very low down on the yoke. It's a deep yoke. It's not so deep that you can't put your hands up and then your tummy pops out. It's still within the parameters, but it is a slightly deeper yoke for that relaxed, oversized feel. But because that last increase round is reasonably low, it's kind of past the center bust point, this last increase row is modified so that you can achieve the arm and body measurements for the size below your yoke. So this sample is a size 4 all over, and the fit on the body and the arms is perfection. I have got a little bit of ease, gentle, relaxed sleeves with them not being massive and huge. Same with the body, gentle and relaxed without it being huge. It sits on my hips just right. So I don't want to go a size up in the sleeves and the body. They're perfect. I just need a bit more space here. So by going up a yoke but maintaining the body and the sleeves, then hopefully that should mean more people can get a better fit from the one pattern. If you are within those parameters for your chest versus your shoulder span, then you're fine. You just go with the one size. And there'll be information in the pattern about how to figure out if you're broad or not, because I didn't even know that I was broad. And I'm like, I design clothes for a living, I should know this about myself, but I didn't. So super, super interesting. It's been a bit of a journey. When I finished it and blocked it and put it on, and I kind of noticed, we've still got a little bit of a thing here. I did kind of freak out a little bit, but then actually I'm not worried about it at all. The other thing, like speaking to my knitting friends last night, is it's also kind of like the nature of the yoke. This is sometimes going to happen. It's the nature of the construction. I also think the 2x2 rib is affecting this area slightly as well, because 2x2 has so much memory, and it was significantly worse before I blocked it. And then when I blocked, I made sure to really stretch out that 2x2 rib and try and get rid of as much elasticity as possible. I've also like bound off quite tightly, which is why we're getting quite a cinched in here. I was waiting to see if I had enough yarn to cut this off and then redo my collar bind off, which I think I'll do. I think I might, I don't know whether I'm gonna add in a little bit more length potentially. If I do add more length to the collar, it's not going to add length here, it's just going to raise up this, so it's not that I need more length, I don't think, but a looser bind off I think will help that neck a little bit. But honestly, it's such a comfortable turtleneck. It's not too big, it's not overpowering, it's not tight to my neck, it's not like restrictive, it's just sitting comfortably around my neck, and it's so cozy and lovely. So that's where we are with the Maxine Sweater. My second sample is going to be coming as soon as my yarn arrives, but Emma has to dye it up for me specifically. By the way, yes, this is the yarn was gifted, but I am not sponsored or paid to promote the yarn. It's just a gift and a collaboration within the pattern. I've not been paid or asked to talk about it, just for clarification. And so yeah, the next load of yarn, which I'll be purchasing, needs to be dyed to order, so it might be a little while. But the test knit for this is 11 weeks long and started 2 days ago, so I've got plenty of time. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to just spending a week hunkered down and just smashing out this sample in a week. I really quite like knitting something in a week challenge, and I think I'll probably film that as well, like attempting, because I did knitting a cardigan in a week, and that turned out to be a cardigan that was 2 sizes too big for me as well, and I managed that, so I should be able to do this in a week. So yeah, there you go. The projected release date, as I said, will be the kind of 3rd, 4th week of November. So if you're a speedy knitter, you could get it done by Christmas if you wanted it as a Christmas jumper, but it's not, it can be festive and Christmassy, I think, but depending on the way you choose your colours, it can also be, you know, cross-seasonal. This for me gives kind of autumn, winter vibes, not necessarily festive, but if you were to do like red, white and green, then we'd be like, hello Christmas. So I'm going to take this off now because I'm really, really hot. So I do have some more finished objects to show you, but whilst we're in Maxine territory, I'm going to show you a whip just whilst we're here, because it's little, it's quick, it's exciting, and it's just, oh my god, it's just so cute. So I showed you this a little while ago. This is the original Maxine hot water bottle cover. This is a 2-litre hot water bottle. It's the kind of average size. You can get 1-litre ones, but you can also get 500 milliliter miniature water bottles, which is what we have here. I knit this mini Maxine hot water bottle cover in one day. And actually, technically, I've knit 1.5 mini hot water bottle covers in one day because I've got another little whippy guy right here. This is a 3-colour version, pink and yellow. I'm not sure about the yellow and the white. This is what I'm saying, it's like finding the right colours. Yellow and white, even though they look high contrast, like here in the ball, in the colour work, it never normally reads that well, but overall I still think it's absolutely adorable, and I really wanted a pink one for my daughter. This came about because I had, I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, but these are the same. This is like this little section here. I had leftovers from this, but it wasn't quite enough to make a large one, and I also needed a teacher gift knit for this year. The past 2 years for my son's teachers, I've made mittens. I did fingerless mittens, I did full mittens, and this year he has got 4 teachers, 3 of which he's had before, so they've already got mittens. So I was like, oh, I need something different, quick, simple, small, universal, or I'm not going to worry about fit, to make for his teachers. And I thought, perfect, mini hot water bottle covers, and I've got 4 months to make them for 4 teachers, so that's 1 a month, and you know, I could probably do 4 in a week actually if it's all I did. So this version of the Maxine hot water bottle will be an update of the original pattern. So if you already own it, you won't have to buy this again separately. I'm just going to add this into the original pattern. I have already written it. I just need it to be edited, which shouldn't be too bad. I am then going to do a 2-week kind of preview knit over on my Patreon. This isn't something I've done before, and just because this is like a very simple update, it doesn't need like full testing. I'm kind of probably make 3 or 4 of them before it's released, but just as like a little Patreon perk, I'll do a form that says if you want to preview this, you know, fill out the form and I'll send you the pattern, and just give me any feedback if you want to. Very, very relaxed, just for 2 weeks. As a little Patreon bonus, and that will be across all tiers, not just the higher tier. Lower and higher tiers will have access to the preview knit here. I wouldn't ever put a test knit behind a paywall. People have asked me if I'd do that before, but I don't think that's fair. But for a preview knit that's just super relaxed, like it's just, you know, just a bit of fun really before it goes out to the public, I think that's all right to do that on Patreon, and a nice little thing to do, I think. So yes, this I'm hoping to be edited by the end of next week, 2-week preview, and then yes, this should be good for the end of September, early October as a little update. Oh, it's so cute. It was a challenge. It was much more of a challenge than I thought it would be. I thought it would just be, oh, I'll just, you know, do this, and this, and it will be fine. But making this stitch count, the 12 stitch count work in this tiny thing, was actually quite difficult. Originally on the water bottle, it was like this placement here, but having just the two motifs, it just looked really awkward. It just didn't look very nice. And to center this, I needed an even number of repeats, but then the bottle cover would have been too big or too small. The stitch count wise, it needed to be an odd number. So I played about with it and I expanded this motif, and it is now a 16. yes, it's a 16 stitch repeat now, so I've got an even number of these motifs, meaning I can centralize one and have the other two kind of go around the corner, and then a center one on the back as well. So it does look slightly different to the original Maxine kind of quilt motif, but again, it's still in the same vibe. I feel like this is something I've learned as a designer, like when it comes to playing on original designs and expanding them and using them in different ways. It doesn't have to be exact, because if you were reaching for that perfection exact copy, then you know this wouldn't be possible and this wouldn't be possible. But they don't look like different designs. They are clearly the same little family. How cute. I can't wait. Like, I need to make a reel of like wearing my jumper and cuddling my hot water bottle and I'm hoping I can make a little 3-colour version of the hot water bottle. Interruption number 1. So yeah, I'm hoping to, when I do the 3-colour version of this, which is going to be this cognac colour, white and grey, I'll do the same for like the mini. I'm making 4 minis for presents. 1 for me, and then I'm doing 2. My grandma's care home is having like a Christmas charity craft fair, so you go and you sell your crafts and the proceeds go to the care home, and my mum is doing this and she's having a stall and she's asked if I can contribute. So I'm going to make a couple little mini hot water bottles with the covers, and I'll sell the pattern as well. I'll probably print off a couple of hard copies of the pattern and then sell those, obviously not keeping the proceeds, and then I might do like a code as well, so if I run out of patterns and people still want to get the pattern, I can give them a code to use on my website or on Ravelry and like that kind of thing. So lots and lots of miniature hot water bottle covers to come, but it's also great because I have so many little scrappy bits of 100% wool. It's mainly woolly mammoth fibres, but the pink I've used is a John Arbon sock. I've got Phil Kalana Saga. I've got like so many woolly things that I'm not going to put into my like superwash blankets and like socks and stuff. And this is just the perfect use for that box of woolly scraps. So there you go, that's what's happening with the Maxine designs. The family groweth. It's like we've had a little baby. And oh my god, my stomach just rumbled. I'm hungry. So moving on to my next finished object, shall we take it back to summer a little bit? We've had a little dabble in autumn. Let's bring it back to summer, because I've got something really fun to show you that has not been featured on the on my podcast. I don't think I had it. Yeah, no. If you watched my summer vlogging series, you all know the yarn. I bought this Antigone by, what's it called? I could never remember. Natura, I think, something like that, from Brighton, when I went there with my sister. If you want to see it on a little trip to Brighton and a week in my summery life, then head to my channel, the playlist is there. But I originally bought this, it's 100% linen, to make a summery top for my holiday. But after swatching and trying out a number of different things, I just realised that I wasn't confident making a full garment in this. I'd asked for lots of feedback on Instagram about linen, and almost every person says that they love their linen garments, that they get softer and softer, they're beautiful to wear. So I do think it's still in my future, but I just wasn't quite ready. I wanted to get to know the fibre. The other thing that most people said was, it's lovely to wear, it's horrible to knit with. I didn't experience that at all, but I think that's got something to do with my gauge, so we'll get into that in a minute. But this is the yarn, and from this yarn, whilst I was on holiday in the south of France, I made myself, very appropriately, oh, have I done it wrong? There we go, that way, a French market bag. Look at this guy. Isn't it so cute? It is not perfect by any means when it comes to its proportions. I winged this. I looked at a few patterns. I did some research on construction and how it kind of works. And you basically just knit a rectangle. So you start at, so technically this is like the bit that goes under your arm here. You start here, and then with this little edging, then you knit a rectangle, and then you pick up stitches along the long side of the rectangle, cast on, pick up the stitches on the other long side of the rectangle, cast on till you get back to the beginning, and you've made a big circle. You can see that the strap is one big circle. You knit in the round, and then you fold it that way, not that way. At first I was like, oh my goodness, I've really messed this up. This is not good. This is not a practical bag. But I was just holding it the wrong way around. It's actually meant to be this way. So yes, this kind of, the main problem with the proportions is it's not wide enough, and it needs to be shorter as well, because actually the width of your rectangle actually dictates the length of your bag, and the length of your rectangle dictates the width. So this bit is kind of too low and too open, and the bag isn't like long enough, so it's not the most practical. I could probably, you know, get a couple of bunches of bananas and that kind of stuff in it, but anything bigger, it would probably just fall out the sides. And I think my straps are a teeny bit too long as well. They can maybe do with being a bit shorter, but you get the idea. You get the vibe. The stitch pattern, I ended up doing this kind of garter eyelet stripe situation because I just did not want to purl at all. So the wrong side is just knit and the right side is the lace pattern. Really, really simple, really satisfying. And I absolutely loved working on it. It was the perfect kind of mindless but interesting holiday knit. And then I went with like a folded stockinette, like trim finishing. This is something I would want to change with my next one, in that I prefer the wrong side. Can you see here how the bind off is like here, and it runs all the way along the strap and then down around the connection to the bag? I much prefer this side. This side, again, it's not ugly. You kind of have this cable situation, but it just doesn't, I just feel like it could be better. I think it would be nicer the other way around. So that's another little change that I could make. I don't have any plans to work on this, to develop it or release it this year, because, you know, even though it's not seasonal dependent, you could use it all year round. It's definitely more of like a spring, summer project to work on, because it's linen, because it's like that lighter weight fibre that you can work on in hot weather. It's just more seasonally appropriate then. So this will be coming back next year. I've had an offer of a collaboration for this one, which is really exciting. So I'm going to try some different linen. It's a little bit more accessible, a little bit more affordable, and the colours are really beautiful. So you will be able to see this next year, I think. If you can think of a name, I'd love a name. I'm thinking maybe the Riviera market bag, just because that's where I was when I was working on it, would be nice. I'm not too sure, but yeah, if you could think of a cute name for this. I would also like to try a different stitch. I'd really like to try it in brioche. I think brioche would be fantastic, because again, when you work brioche flat, it's the same on both sides. It's really simple, really stretchy, so I think practically it would be perfect for this. But yeah, so then within the pattern you could like choose two different textures, but everything else remains the same, like the stitch counts and the construction and all that kind of thing, but we will see. The other problem with this was that I left it out to dry overnight whilst we were in France on a wooden varnished table, and it rained. We had a thunderstorm and it got rained on, and like the colour of the varnish has gone onto the, don't know if you can see it around here, it just kind of looks a bit dirty and it didn't wash out. So unfortunately that kind of renders this sample redundant when it comes to kind of using it as like a take picture. I could probably get away with it, to be fair, but I wouldn't be using this for pattern pictures because it's not right, it's not reflective of what the pattern would say. So that was my fun little summer project, and I really enjoyed working on it. I didn't have any problems with the feel of the linen on my hands. I didn't find it hard work at all for this bit. I used a metal needle. It was super slippy slidey. Some people might prefer to use a wooden needle, but I like the slippy slidiness. I did feel it though when I was working the bands on the smaller, much smaller needle. This is like quite, I think I used a 5mm needle with fingering weight yarn, so it's like a big loose gauge. But this was like 3.5mm needles, I think, and it was, I could feel that hard work. So I think if I did a garment on 3.5mm needles with it held single, I get where people are coming from that. But with this project, didn't have that problem. So for all those people who have bought linen yarn, decided they don't want to make a garment with it, and now it's just sitting in their stash, got something coming up for you next year. Right, I'm going to pause for a minute because my camera's overheated. Lovely. Okay, we've cooled down a little bit, but you know, I need to get cracking because the F1 starts in an hour. So let's move on to my, what have we got left? We've got we've got 3 projects and the make along left to go. So next is a finished object, and it's a pair of socks, and it's such a fun pair of socks. This pair of socks was a whole new experience for me. I've still got a couple of ends to weave in, but I need to show you these because they are soon to be gifted. And these are my sister's birthday socks of the year. How fun are these? I'm obsessed. I'm gutted I have to give them away, though I could definitely make myself like a similar version, I think. So last year I made my sister a pair of socks for her birthday, and I found like a yarn that was very appropriate for her at a yarn show, and it was like it was based on CMYK, so it was like a variegated grey, but then it had pops of cyan, magenta and yellow in it, and she's a graphic designer and she got the reference instantly. And it had this bright pink for the heel, cuffs and toes, and she was like, I love that pink so much, I love it, it's like one of my favourite colours, like how did you know, I just love that pink. So this time around I thought, do you know what, I'm going to get rid of some scraps and I'm going to focus more on the pink side of things. And I realised that I had a nice amount of like the bright solid pink and then the more subtle variegated pink. This one was from a pair of gloves that I made her as well, so we've got 2 of her other projects in here. And then when I laid all my like scraps out, I thought I want something strong for the contrast, and ended up going with this navy from Phil Kalana. It's the Arvetta, and I just think they look so fun. Like, I love them so much. And the reason why this was a whole new project for me was because I knit them in tandem. I did 2 at the same time. So I've never done that before. I don't know why, but I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed it. I struggled at first because the cuff is my least favourite bit. When you've not got much sock to work on and it's the small circumference doing the rib, I did a 2x2 rib by the way, I don't enjoy the cuff, so to then finish the cuff and not be like, yay! Yeah, so not being like, yay, I now get to do the front pink bit, being like, no, I've got to cast on the second cuff. That was tricky. However, going between the 2, especially with my like scrap yarns, I think they were either like more than 10 grams of scrap, or I think my smallest was some 10 gram minis. I think this one and this one were like 10 gram minis. And just kind of like going between the 2 and like doing that bit and then that bit, and I've weaved my ends in as I've gone, apart from the last like 2 or 3, because I think I was doing these last bit was like on the go, and I don't think I brought my scissors with me. So I do have no, I didn't have an embroidery needle. So I have still got a few ends down here, but overall I just enjoyed it so much. They absolutely flew off the needles, and it's definitely like a new way for doing scrappy socks, I think, and I'm just obsessed. I did 10 row stripes in case you're interested, and I've got a 70 row leg and a 70 row foot. It's quite a long leg, but when I make a sock I like the leg to have the same amount of rows as the foot. It's just a thing for me. My sister is a size bigger than me in shoes, but I use 2.5mm needles because I like the Addy Sock Wonder, and I can't get them in a 2.25. I have been sent a website where people have got them before, but they're not there for me. I don't know if it's a UK thing, I'm not sure, but I do a 60 stitch circumference for my sister who's a UK size 7, and I did a 68 stitch cuff and then decreased straight away because there's nothing worse than a tight cuff, and 2x2 has so much memory and so much like stretch. It's just nice to have that little bit more room so it's not too tight. And then I just did a shadow wrap. You can't even see because the yarn is so dark. Just did a classic short row heel, not short row, shadow wrap heel. Although now I'm thinking maybe I should have put some increases in here to have a bit more room in the heel, because my sister has got slightly wider feet, but the last pair of socks I made for her, she said fit her fine, and these are kind of the same recommendations. And then yeah, 70 row foot, and then a normal wedge toe. And I like to have quite a few stitches between my decreases, so I've got 4 stitches decrease either side rather than the usual 2, and that's because I find it puts less strain on these decreases, so you get less wear and tear there. So that's my socky finished project. I'm going to be sad to see them go, but I'm also excited to go through my little scrappy bags and do my own version for myself. Speaking of socks for myself, I do have a half finished pair. So I've got a complete sock here for you, but I've not done the second one. I just thought I'd show it you quickly. I did show it in the last podcast, but I hadn't finished it. But I have finished this one now, and it looks so funny. I love how ribbed socks look. They're just freaking hilarious. This is my Caroline sock because my friend Caroline chose the yarns. It's a ribbed sock. It's a 2x1 rib with a heel, flap and gusset, wedge toe, stockinette foot, and this kind of sporty stripe on the top. And I ended up doing a folded cuff only because I did this section too long and it looked disproportionate, but it's one of the most happy accidents. I think it looks so nice. It adds to the sporty vibe. Somebody commented, I can't remember if it was on Patreon or on Instagram, how many rows I had done for my stripes, and now I can't find the comment. So if that was you, here's your information. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rows for my contrast stripe here, and then I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 in between. And I know it looks quite thick here, but when you have it on the leg and it stretches out, they become thinner and you don't lose that middle. I was often, when I've done this on socks before, I lose that middle stripe because it's been too thin when it stretches out, but I'm really pleased with that. So yeah, again, 2.5mm needles, 10, 7, 10. So yeah, that's my little sporty sock. I'm looking forward to finishing this one because so autumnal. I think these will look really cute with my Birkenstocks. Apparently that's okay. Apparently that's cool now to have socks and Birkies. Birkin socks. Surely someone's used that as like a pattern name. If not, I need to do Birkin socks. But look, I love them. They just fit so perfectly. I don't enjoy the process of a flap and gusset, but you cannot deny that the fit is fantastic. You just cannot deny it. Love them. Yeah, so I made it up as I went along really, and I'm not sure the world needs another ribbed sock pattern. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It's that thing. Is it worth the admin? Who knows? So maybe I'll write it up, maybe I won't. I don't know. But yeah, those are my Birkin socks, as I am now going to call them. Those can be cast on ready for the school run returning, because I knit most of these on the school run or in the cup. So I have one more whip to show you, and then we can talk about the mal, which I'm really excited about. And this is a whip that I had just started in the last podcast, and I fully, absolutely 100% hyper focused on it. And unfortunately the hyper focus ran out before I could do the second sleeve. And I haven't actually looked at this for a while. My plan with this was to have it done for holiday, and I took it on holiday with me, but it was too hot for even this. It was like 33 degrees all day, every day, dropping down to 27 at night. So yeah, it just wasn't practical at all. So I just didn't finish it. And now I've got back to the UK, and it's just like there aren't really any, it's not summery enough, but I will hopefully get round to finishing it because it is so fun and I did enjoy making it, and I think it's quite cool. So this is my Summery, oversized, stripy, random thing. The idea was, it was supposed to be like a summer jumper to put on when it's windy or in the evening, like a layer between you and the air but isn't making you warm. The yarn is Tiny Friends from Hobbycraft, and they come in these little 25 gram balls, hence the striping, and it's an acrylic and cotton blend. I really like how it feels. It's honestly super, super soft. It hasn't got that dryness of cotton that sensory wise I can't handle, and it doesn't have the squeakiness of acrylic that sensory wise I can't handle. They kind of cancel each other out and you get this nice soft fabric. It's lovely, and I just wanted it to be really relaxed and chilled, and I worked it bottom up. So it's got a little rolled hem at the bottom, and then I worked a rolled hem around the neckline, which I'm so pleased with, and also the same on the arm cuff. We've got like loose sleeves, slightly shorter, which is strange for me, not like full length, but I like that kind of, I think it's more summery, more relaxed, more spring. I really like the finishings on this because it's giving I-cord without the faff of an I-cord. I'm not so keen on a rolled hem on a like single colour garment. I like it when there's like ribbing and then rolled hem. I think that's beautiful. But because it's almost like a contrast, I think it looks really, really nice. And yes, again, it gives I-cord without the faff. One thing I wish I'd done slightly differently is I wish I had a red stripe in here, or I'd started on a red stripe here, because I think if I'd started my stripe sequence basically from this red stripe, then or maybe even from this one, then my sleeve stripes would match my body stripes. I mean, they kind of, yeah, not quite. I just think that would have been, that's something that I would consider if this was a design. No current plans for it to be a design right now. Obviously we're out of season now, maybe again in the future depending on the feedback from it. But another little feature of this is that it's also reversible. I actually originally planned it to be like a wide open boat neck, which is what I did, so I'm going to twist it round for you. There we go. So as I worked it bottom up, I did this side first, and it does have shaping in it, so it's not just like a flat across. It's got like cast off decreases situation here, so it won't hit straight across the neck like this. It does gently curve around the neck, but obviously it's nice and wide. It's not the best with this top underneath, but I'd done the front, and then I thought, well, this would also be quite cute as a v-neck. So I thought, well, why don't I just do a v-neck on the back, and then you can have your fully covered front moment with a little bit of sexy back V, or you can flip it round and have your V moment at the front but have your back covered. So it's totally reversible. Like, how fun. Oh man, I've put it on now and I'm like, this needs to be finished. Maybe I will get somewhere out of this year still if we have a bit of a heat wave, which we maybe will. I think it'd be so cute with white shorts or with blue jeans. It's just a bit of fun. Like, not my normal area when it comes to like colour. It's like pink and red. Like, it's a lot for me. It's not normally something that I would gravitate towards, but I was just so connected with this yarn and these colours, and I just had a lot of fun with it. So yeah, there you go. This is my kind of weird summery stripy deck chair windbreaker parasol vibe garment. Will it come back for 2025? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. Maybe I would do a second sample in a different yarn, maybe with a different stripe pattern. This stripe pattern is quite complicated, keeping track of it, and you, especially when you're working it like not in the round, when you're working it flat, you've got quite a lot of yarn management and quite a lot of ends. But yeah, maybe a more simple stripe pattern would be fun as well. But you know, I just obviously love to make extra work for myself. So we'll see. Let me know what you think about this one. Let me know which way round you prefer it, whether you prefer it the boat neck or the v-neck. I think I prefer it v-neck, you know. It's definitely more wearable with something underneath it as a v-neck. Like, it kind of gives that kind of cumulus vibe, like a bit more chill, a bit more relaxed. But yeah, maybe if you were wearing it over like a bikini top, the boat neck would be better, because then you wouldn't, if you didn't want your chest to be exposed. But yeah, there you go. If you can think of a name for it that isn't deck chair sweater, which it currently is in my head, let me know that too. So that's all the current active projects. I'm going to be casting on my Maxine version 2 as soon as physically possible. I'm also going to be casting on my next sample of the John Arbon sweater. That's going to be the next garment design from me. We're working on the mini Maxine, and then also going to be picking my kite shawl back up again with the matching mittens. I'm hoping to get some yarn for that from Unravel. I'm going to the September Unravel this year, which is really exciting. I wasn't gonna go, but then Unravel messaged me saying, would you like to come as a guest? So I was like, well, be rude not to, especially when they said I could bring a friend as well. So me and my lovely friend Anna are going down to Unravel. And whilst I'm there, I'm hoping I can pick up 100 gram skeins of beautiful yarn for me to make the next sample of my kite shawl with. And I need to finish the original kite shawl sample too. But another reason why I said yes to go to Unravel, because I do not need yarn other than that bit for that very specific project. I've still got like yarn from the last Unravel I went to in February, so I definitely don't need yarn. However, I do need prizes, which takes me nicely into my mal. I'm really nervous about this. I'm like, once I announce it, then like that's it, that's real, we're doing it. But I discussed this on my Patreon. I'm like, you know, we need to chill out. I make the rules. It doesn't have to be stress. I'm the one who decides if it's stressful or not, and I'm deciding that this is not going to be stressful. So there we go. So I have wanted to do like a knit along or a make along for a long time, but I've never had an idea or something that sparked that motivation for me with it, and it's finally happened. So I would like to formally announce that as of, what date is it going to start? I think I should be sensible and start it once the kids are back at school. In my head I wanted to start it on the 1st of September, but I'm not ready. So as of Monday, the 9th of September, I will be launching the To Me, From Me mal. And we're going make along, not knit along, so that doesn't matter what your craft is, you can get involved. And the idea of the To Me, From Me mal is that over this next few months, so it will be running through September, October and November, right up to the very end of November. The idea is that in that time, you give yourself permission to make yourself something lovely. It's the time of year where I know a lot of people feel pressure to gift knit. A lot of people really enjoy gift knitting. I like gift knitting as long as it's within my, like boundaries and I'm not stressing myself out about it. But I know some people feel the need to do that. Some people like only knit for themselves anyway. You can take part in this Cal as well, Mal, that's going to happen a lot. You don't have to be also gift knitting to take part. But the idea is that you make something for yourself for the festive period. I'm not going Christmas specific because there are so many wonderful celebrations all around the world at this time of year, leading into kind of November, December, January time. And it's to encourage you to just do something nice for yourself for the festive period. That could be a pair of colourwork mittens that you've always wanted to make for yourself, but you end up getting distracted by making gift knits for other people and you don't do it for yourself. It could be a whole garment. It could be starting that blanket project. It could be anything. It could be knitting, crochet, sewing, like English paper piecing, quilting, like whatever you want. I'm not bothered. It's just meant to be fun and encouraging at this time of year. So what am I going to be doing for the mal, you ask? And this is exciting and I'm nervous. I recently purchased this lovely yarn, which is the Rerum Alpaca Classic. This is the yarn I have wanted to use for a long time. I bought this myself with my own money from the Oxford Knitting Store, is it called? Bought it online and I bought it for a very, very specific reason. And oh look, it's so beautiful and it matches my nails. It is alpaca and cotton, and it's a blown yarn, but it's fine. It's like a sport to DK type weight. The recommended needles are, I think, 3.75. Yeah, 3.75 recommended needles. But I am going to use this to make myself a souffle. finally gonna do it. I have wanted to make myself a long sleeved souffle for a very, very long time. If you're new around here, souffle was my first ever garment design. It's made with mohair. It's got a single strand on the top of the yoke, so it's slightly see-through with an I-cord edge, and then this beautiful ruffle at the join, and then it has a double layer. It's poofy, floaty, poofy little sleeves, and there's like a short sleeve version and a long sleeve version. My camera overheated again. I think I need to take this guy for an MOT before Vlogmas. So yes, I'm gonna make a long sleeve souffle. I'm also like quite intrigued to look back at my old pattern and see if I would write it differently now. And I would also like to update the pattern with a different neckline option, because for this, I'm gonna hold this single throughout on the 4mm needle. So you still get that light and floaty vibe, but you haven't got the difference between the see-through here and the solid here. I want it all to be one single thing, and I would like it to have a folded over collar, and I'm going to be adding short rows to the crew neck version. The original souffle doesn't have short rows because of the type of construction. It doesn't really need it. It's quite a wide neck, and I also feel like the original souffle tee itself, it's quite formal. It's quite a like occasional piece. It's not that casual, and I feel like adding in this slightly different neckline version is going to really make it a little bit more wearable and a bit more casual. You've got the summer souffle, which has the ribbed collar and short rows, but it's much more fitted because it's like a summer t-shirt. There's no poof, there's no like floatiness, it's more fitted. I still want the poof and the floaty and the loose, but just with a slightly different neckline, slightly more wearable. And my plan is to wear this with my sparkly silver Christmas trousers that I got last year, and I'm going to wear every year until they either don't fit or all the sequins have fallen off. I love them so much, but I wanted something like red to go with them. But also you could wear this with blue jeans or with dark jeans or with black trousers, or with, I've got like a little black flippy mini skirt that I love to wear in the autumn with tights and boots, and this would look so cute in that context. I think red lip. So like smart casual, you could wear it on a date night but it not be overly festive. Oh, I just love romanticizing, can you tell? So this is going to be my September cast on, and I'm really excited. One of the things that got me nervous about announcing a cal or a mal was like, well, what if I don't finish my project in the time of the cal? What if I feel pressure to work on it when I don't want to? And that was when it was like a I make the rules, this doesn't matter thing kicked in, and I've had lots of encouragement from my friends and my patrons about this idea, and so I'm just going to do it. There are going to be 3 opportunities to win prizes. This is something else I've always worried about with cows, because I've not had good experience in the past with the post and things getting lost, things not making it to the people. I used to have a wedding calligraphy business, and the number of times I had to remake orders because it got lost in the post, and that used to just add a lot of anxiety and would put me off doing a cal with physical prizes. But I'm gonna get over that, you know, stuff happens. It's not my fault if the post lose something, but anyway, there are going to be 3 opportunities for prizes. The first is there's going to be an Instagram exclusive prize, and that is going to be if you have used the hashtag, and that's it. You don't have to finish your project. It's not about like stress knitting to a deadline. Just use the hashtag, post about the cal, post about your project, follow me of course, and then I will draw a winner for that at some point, maybe kind of in the middle, perhaps maybe in October. And then there is going to be a finished object draw, and that will be through a Google form. So for those of you here on YouTube who don't use Instagram, who aren't on Patreon or anything like that, you don't have to use those platforms. Just anyone here who works along with it and finishes a project can post it in the Google form, and from all those people I will draw a prize. And then there will also be a Patreon exclusive prize as well. We'll have a little chat thread over in the Patreon, and obviously that will be a good one because there'll be a lot less. And now my battery's gone. Yeah, so there'll be a Patreon exclusive giveaway prize as well. And these prizes, I'm going to get them from Unravel. I'm so excited to like go shopping for you guys and to like have the fun and enjoyment of going to the yarn show. And I always get to meet like viewers and followers at yarn shows, which is always so lovely, and I get to buy yarn, support small independent makers, but I'm not adding to my massive stash in the process. So I'm probably going to do like a yarny pattern combination prizes. I think I'm going to do a Stella quilt cushion kit as a prize, so you will get the yarn and the pattern. If you already own the pattern, you can choose a different one. And then I think I might do a Maxine hot water bottle cover prize as well. Those will probably be for the 2 finished objects ones, because they're going to be pretty major prizes. And then for the Instagram hashtag one, I'll probably just do something yarny, maybe just see what like stands out to me at Unravel, and then maybe throw in a few of my patterns as well. So I'm really excited. It's going to be so much fun. Yay. And yeah, it'll be something that we can like talk about and check in with throughout the podcast over the next few months. I can share your guys' work on my platforms and on here, and just, you know, share the festive making love. Right, okay, so I think we need to start kind of winding up here. Last podcast I did my Instagram saves. I'm just going to do 3 because I don't want this podcast to be too long, but I really enjoyed that segment last time. I enjoyed like showing what I'm enjoying at the moment, and if I didn't have all this stuff to be doing, what I would be casting on and inspiring you guys a little bit as well. So let's go to my saved. What are my last, I mean, yeah, we've still got quite a lot of, it's mainly like nail art designs and quilting and recipes. Do you want to see that stuff? I don't know. Right, okay, so what have we got saved? Ooh! Oh, I've forgotten about that. Oh, okay, so this designer, Wool and Beyond. She's doing a like plain white tee at the moment as well, which I'm really enjoying. But I've seen this reel that she's done for a skirt. It's called the First Flirt skirt. And you know, I mentioned earlier I've got a black flippy skirt that I wear a lot in the autumn. It's kind of like that, but knitted. The ruffle isn't as ruffly, but I would absolutely love the idea of knitting myself one of those. Okay, it runs from an extra small to a 4XL with a maximum hip of 145 centimeters, which is 57 inches, which is pretty good, I think. I'm not sure what the guidelines are of size inclusivity when it comes to like bottom half garments, so I'm not sure if that kind of meets the standards. You've got quite a wide range there. It goes from 85 to 145 centimeters, and the waist measurement is 70 to 125. So that's really exciting. I'm going to really look into that and see like what the yarn is and see how it would work for me, because honestly I reckon that would be such a wearable piece for me, like in the autumn winter, knowing that I wear a garment like that all the time as it is. Okay, so what else have we got? Oh, a pair of socks. I saw these socks just as I was releasing the Stella quilt blanket, and I was like, how have I not seen these? These are so perfect. These are right, like, I need these in my life, and I'd really love to make myself a pair of these. They're colour work socks, but only on the leg. I hate the feel of colour work on my feet, but I think I can stand it on the leg. And they are by Horse Feather Fibre Arts, and they are called, they're called the Quilty Cabin socks, and they've got like that kind of quilt star that we all love at the moment just around the leg, and they've got a flap and gusset. They're so cute, they're so lovely. So they come in sizes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 inch, which is cool. Yeah, they just look really, really fun and so adorable and so on brand. I definitely love to make those. Maybe they're my next sock cast on after I've finished my Birkin socks. That's what they're called, isn't it? And then have we got anything else knitty? I've not saved anything knitty for a while. Oh, these little purses. This is by, I don't know how to pronounce this person's name. It's a Polish name, so I'm not even going to try because I'll get it wrong and I'll insult someone by getting it wrong. But the name of the person is Zofia, and she's made these teeny little purses that are like shells. They're so cute. Like, there's like a stripy one and colourful ones, and they look so simple, but what an awesome way to use up little scraps. I want to make one for Penny because she would absolutely love it. Like, you could probably fit, could you fit a card in there? Maybe you could fit like your little, like your debit card, your credit card or whatever in there, but they're just so cute. You'd have to find a little zip, but that's not difficult to do right now. Yeah, they just look like the perfect little, cute little gift knit, like perfect for gift knitting. And so yeah, how adorable. So those are my latest 3 saves. Hopefully they've inspired you a little bit. Sorry that was a bit rushed at the end, but yeah, it's time for me to wind this up. What can you expect from me? Hopefully we'll be podcasting again soon. I am thriving when it comes to knitting at the moment. I cannot stop. The mojo is strong. I'm just feeling super productive and super motivated. So hopefully I'll have lots more to show you in the not too distant future. We are officially in September now. In October we will have the autumn vlogs. I feel like I've only just done the summer vlogs, but they were quite late. I should have done them in July really. So yeah, mid to late October we'll be having a week of autumnal vlogs, which is so exciting. And then before you know it, it'll be Vlogmas. So yay, stick around and I will update over here as often as I can. Hopefully I'll be doing a knitting a sweater in a week video as well in the next few weeks. That would be so fun. And yeah, stay in touch. Join me over on Patreon if that is something that you would like to do. Everything's linked below. And yeah, just thank you for all your support. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.